Top stories from around the island. To the point. Without the fluff. Puerto Rico headline news. Please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell notification.
Hello and welcome to Puerto Rico Headline News for April 8th, 2020. This is your COVID-19 update for Puerto Rico. Along with discussing the latest numbers from the Department of Health, we're also going to discuss an article that came out this morning where the governor of Puerto Rico, Juan, has requested a ban on flights to Puerto Rico from states with high COVID-19 cases. So we'll cover that information as well. And again, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to this channel, like the video, and please don't be afraid to share this content. So let's go ahead and get into the headline here from El Nuevo Dia for April 8th, Wednesday. And the headline basically mentions how the Department of Health is waiting on its highest number of tests. They're waiting on results for 1,160 tests. Now, is it that they're testing so much, or is it that they're not getting enough results back every day? So we'll take a look at that and see what the case may be. So let's go ahead and get into this article, and it says, although the number of coronavirus cases in Puerto Rico rose to 620 this morning, the Department of Health reported today a slight drop in new confirmed cases, with 13 fewer than those that were reported yesterday. So along with that, there's a graph, and here we're able to see the amount of confirmed cases that have been reported day by day since the first one reported on March 13th. So you can see how it had some peaks there, went back down, a peak. The latest bar with the lowest, this was on Sunday. Nobody seemed to work on that day, or very little. And then we see a drop as of this morning in confirmed cases that are being reported. So what can that be? Is it not enough tests being done? Or are there many tests being done and people are just coming back negative? Well, we'll find out in a little bit. So the article continues to mention, however, the number of pending results stood at 1,160, which is the highest since data on the disease began to be documented on the island. In total, only 6,052 COVID-19 tests have been conducted since the first reported case on March 8th. Today is now April 8th, so in 30 days or in a month's time, there's only been 6,052 cases. I did the math. I think that's a little shy on average of 200 tests that are being conducted a day. So only 6,052 tests have been conducted, of which 4,266 have come back negative. And here we see this graph that shows us the amount of pending test results. That's that orange line. How many have been confirmed cases is that red line. And deaths is indicated by the black line there. So let's go ahead and continue with the article. It says here, regarding the deaths, it was reported that an 81-year-old woman died in a hospital in the Mayagüez region after her clinical assessment became complicated. No further details were given on the victim. In total, the coronavirus has claimed the lives of 24 people in Puerto Rico so far. The figures continue to show an upward trend that we must stop. For this reason, it is important to be rigorous with the measures implemented by the government and stay at home. By reinforcing social distancing measures now, we will be able to reduce the spread to more people until we stop it, said Dr. Lorenzo Gonzalez, the Department of Health Secretary, in a press release. Now, out of the 47 new positives reported, 9 were obtained from the Department of Health's laboratory. Only 9 came back with test results today. 1 from the Veterans Hospital, and in turn, 37 from private laboratories on the island. It looks like these private labs are really working to get back the results of these tests. They might be doing a better job than the Department of Health. Who knows? As of today, of the accumulated total positive cases, 301 are women, while 319 are men. Now here's another graph that basically breaks down the those that are confirmed cases by age groups and by gender as well. So if we take a look there, we see that the hardest hit age group is those in the 50 to 59-year-old range, followed by those that are between 40 and 49. And take a look at something that's been very concerning to the Department of Health here in Puerto Rico is the fact that 0 to 29 is the third, looks like the third highest group to have the COVID-19. At one, well, in other countries, it's been the opposite, where it's the higher age groups tended to catch and show symptoms of the coronavirus. But here in Puerto Rico, it seems the younger age groups are tending to catch and show symptoms of the COVID-19, something they'll want to keep an eye on. Continuing on with the article, it says the Department of Health indicated that 54 patients were out of the country and 94 did not travel. So those that did not travel obviously caught it with community spreading. But the agency acknowledged that it does not have the travel history of 472 people. They have no idea how they contracted it, whether they traveled outside of Puerto Rico, or if it was they caught it here in Puerto Rico through community spreading. They have no idea yet. Juncos, with only one, was added to the list of towns with COVID-19 cases today. San Juan continues as the town with the most positives with 50, followed by Guaynabo with 26, Bayamon with 25, and Carolina with 21. And here you can see a graph or a map of Puerto Rico, and we see the higher concentration of confirmed cases in the metropolitan region. And if you've seen this map in the last few days, you've seen how it continues to spread into more of the municipalities in Puerto Rico. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also wanted to cover an article that was provided by El Nuevo Dia as well. And it mentions how the government of Puerto Rico has asked the FAA to ban flights from states with the highest COVID-19 numbers. And these states include New York, Florida, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Illinois. So let's go ahead and cover a little bit on this article. And it says, a new request from the government of Puerto Rico to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, seeks to ban flights from areas with the highest cases of coronavirus, such as the states of New York and Florida. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Illinois also appear in the petition, according to a La Fortaleza press release. And it continues to say, we want people from the areas most affected by COVID-19 not to arrive here. This is part of the necessary measures to prevent this virus from spreading and affecting the health of the people of Puerto Rico. And this was a quote provided by the governor of Puerto Rico, Governor Juan Vasquez. Now, currently, New York State is the epicenter of COVID-19 in the United States, with more than 139,000 confirmed cases and around 5,500 deaths, according to the latest report. Now, Florida, on the other hand, has more than 14,000 confirmed cases of the disease and reported the deaths of 300 people. The interim executive director of the Ports Authority, Joel Pisa Batiz, explained that the FAA released new guidelines on how airports can combat the COVID-19 threat, which establishes multiple courses of action, such as the one that the governor had requested to limit the flights to a single airport, and other more rigorous actions is what she had done. So one petition that she had submitted a few weeks ago was to concentrate flights into Puerto Rico into just one airport. Now, why is she asking for this additional request from the FAA? Well, a few days ago, it was reported flights are still coming in from these states. In fact, there's 20 flights coming in from New York just today. Apparently, a few days ago, a flight did come in from New York. There were a couple people that had symptoms on the plane. They decided to take some kind of medication, aspirin or whatever it was, to lower their fever, to lower their temperature. So when they did get off the plane and their temperature was checked, they came below. There was nothing that stood out regarding their temperature. But it wasn't until they got to where they were staying they suddenly developed symptoms. They headed to the hospital, and they found out that that's what they had done. Although they tried to hide the fact that they weren't feeling good by taking some aspirin, but it wasn't good enough, and they did end up in the hospital. So that came out to light, and now this is as a result of that. This new request is being made by the governor to ban flights coming in from those high concentrations of COVID-19. Now, the article concludes by saying, I am convinced that Governor Wanda Vasquez's previous requests made on March 21st, along with the cry of other governors and mayors of the U.S. last week, have promoted this FAA request or document, said the official. Now, Pizza Batiz stressed that the government asked the federal regulator to allow it to reschedule flights from the most affected areas in the United States until the peak of the pandemic drops here in Puerto Rico. And I'm sure we'll be hearing some additional details regarding this request, as far as maybe more specifics on how long that ban would be for those wanting to come into Puerto Rico from those highly concentrated areas with COVID-19. So most likely we'll be able to hear a little bit more about that request. Well, that's all for today. This is your COVID-19 update for today. Thanks for watching. This is Puerto Rico Headline News.